Hello friends, welcome to my new video. And as it is clear that I'm going to explain about Spring Boot with GraphQL. So I will not much explain about theoretically. I will explain, and then directly I will jump into the code so that we can do some practical. So what actually it is GraphQL. So let me explain with some simple example. Let's suppose there is a customer microservice, and we have two types of a client, like a web client and a mobile client. And let's suppose in one API it is returning a three fields, like fruit is equal to apple, size large, and color is red. And same for mobile client, because it is a REST API, because the customer microservice is a REST API, and so that's why the same object, same API. If mobile client and a web client will consume the same API, it will return the same JSON. Even if for the mobile client, if suppose mobile client doesn't need a size or a color, okay, but still if it doesn't need, but if we want to consume any API from the customer microservice, it need to by default it need to consume even if it is not using it. Or the other option is, like in the customer microservice, we should write another API where it is returning, where it is for one API for web client and another API for mobile client with some less data. So that's another option. But again, this will increase our code, and unnecessary maintenance will increase. So GraphQL can help in this. Let me explain how. Okay, so this is the REST example, like a fruit, size, and a color. And for the GraphQL, for the GraphQL API, it can we can choose what field we need it. Okay, and the consumer, even the client, can choose, like, okay, I need only fruit and color, or I need only color, or something like that. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's jump into the code, and let me explain how it can be done, and with some practical example. Okay, now let me show you the code. So it is made on Spring Boot. This is Spring build.gradle, and you can see the Spring Starter data JP I have used because I'm using a database also, and Spring Starter GraphQL and Spring Starter Web. This is the MySQL connector, Lombok, and nothing else. Okay, and let me open the files. Entity, I will show you the entity. This is the post. Okay, table is post, name and content, number of likes is display, and this is many to one. Okay, one post has many comments. Okay, and let me show you the comment thing. So post comments, so it is only content. Okay, and these are the two files, and I will show you two more files. One is the student. Okay, and student is the name of a table, the student name, student address, and nothing else, and no relationship with any other table. And address also, you can see it's an individual table with the name, city, and country. So these are the entity files, and let me show you the database also. Okay, and post. Okay, you can see the post and the post comment. So this is the foreign key pointing to this one. Okay, and this is a student table, nothing else, it's a plain table. Okay, now let's get back to code again. Okay, so this is the entity files I have shown you, and this is the repository files, address repository, post comment repository, student repository. These are very simple files as per the Spring data JPA. Okay, and these are the service, post service, find all, find by ID, update post, create post, and get comment for the post ID, and based on the post it will return the post. This is the student service. Student service is also simple, where find all, find by ID, create student, find all address, find address by ID, create address, get address by a field address. Okay, so some simple methods are there, and this is the main file. Everything is very simple as per the REST type of work. Okay, so I will tell you now what all the changes are there in the resource. Also you can see it's nothing there, it's a Spring. I'm connecting to database, and these are standard JPA configurations, and this is new, like Spring GraphQL I am enabling it, and this is the path. So in this path we'll be able to see all the GraphQL content. Okay, and these are the new things that as per GraphQL we need to add. Okay, and let me open the controller. So this is the new change, post controller. So we normally use on for if it is a REST API, we normally use a REST controller. So here we need to use as a controller, and everything is simple. Post service is we are injecting the post service here, and get all posts. So instead of get mapping, we use query mapping, and you can notice there are no paths, nothing is there. Okay, I will show you. And this also query mapping, and here I'm passing the post ID. Okay, so this we need to use as an argument. So in a REST type of API we use path param or request param or like that. Okay, so here we need to use the argument. So here we can see find by ID, and I'm passing the post ID. Okay, and with the post mapping, if we want to create any resource or update any resource in the REST API, we use post mapping or put mapping. Okay, so here we need to use the mutation mapping. Okay, so create new post, argument I am passing the post DTO. So it's a simple DTO where I am passing name, content, all these things, because here small DTOs I have created it. Okay, and here I'm passing the DTO, and I'm calling the post service. Okay, so this is very simple. Now as a part of GraphQL thing, we need to create. So you can see this new folder. Okay, so if you with the Spring initializer, if you embed Spring data starter GraphQL, so it will automatically create this folder for us. Okay, and this is a file we need to create it with a GraphQLS extension. We need to write the schema here. So we need to write the schema here, like type is equal to post. So post has post is the entity. Post is the entity. So it has ID, name, content, number of likes, and is display. I'm not using it. Okay, and I also need the comments. So comments is the array, because it is many to one mapping. So here I have used array, and we also need to check here that what all data type it supports. It supports boolean, string, int, and some few others. Like we can check the documentation how many data type it supports, and this is the ID. Okay, so post comment. So post comment has two fields, ID and content. Okay, so this is a student. So student is ID, name, and address. Address is of type address of address. If we open the student thing, student entity. Okay, so here it is there is no relationship, but I will show you why it is needed here. We should have put a string here, but I will show you why it is needed. Okay, when I will call the API, it will be clear. Okay, and this is type of address when name, city, and country is there, and this is the type we are defining how many entities are there. Okay, and this is a type of a query. So means like this is like we have to specify all the queries here. Okay, so this is like we need to specify the method names here, get all post. So you can see of type query mapping, get all post. Okay, so we need to copy here, and we need to exactly do it here. And what is the return type? So array of post, like it is returning list of post. So we need to specify the list of post here, get post by id, where we are adding a post as an argument. So that's what we are doing it here. You can see, okay, get post by id, and similarly we are passing an variable and it is returning the post object. And similarly get all students, it is returning a student object, get student by id. We are passing one variable and it is returning a student object. Get all address, it is returning the list of address, and get address by id. Okay, and now these are for getting some resource or data from the server. Okay, and what about if we want to create some resource or input some data? So for that we need to use mutation. Okay, so we need to use the mutation. So for that mutation, like create new post, we have seen here create new post, we are passing a post DTO as an argument. Okay, and you can see post DTO is the variable name, and this is the type, and it is returning the post object. So post DTO we have to specify as a input, like a name, content, number of likes, and is display as a boolean. So this is the input type we have to specify. And create new students also, you can see student DTO, you can say name and address. And similarly for the address also, we are name, city, and country, and it is returning the address. Now this is the mapping we need to do it to make the GraphQL works. Okay, now let's check the on the Postman. Okay, now the server is already running. Okay, we can see here. Okay, server is already started. GraphQL schema inspection, it will do the inspection. Unmap fields, unmap registration, nothing is there. Okay, so server is running properly. And just note down this URL. We have added GraphQL enabled. So graph IQL we have given. Okay, so server is running on port 9191. Okay, and let's see this one. So GraphQI. Okay, so this is the UI it generates, and you can see it query, mutation, address, all, schema type, everything it is giving. Okay, and these are the history. I will clear it, and these are the query, and these are the mutation. Okay, so it will create an UI like this. So from here we can execute the query. Okay, and now let me show you the Postman. From Postman how we can do that. Okay, so Postman 9191 GraphQI. So we need to open a new GraphQL thing, GraphQL request. Okay, and on the query section we can see it is showing all the available queries and mutations. Okay, so it is like this. So if we do a get all post, okay, so get all post, if we do now, if we do a get all post, what all contents we want to see. So in a normal REST, means like whatever we are sending, whatever the server is sending, we will be all APIs will have to consume it, whether on a desktop. Suppose on the desktop it is I want to consume everything, but on the mobile I am only interested in getting the name and a content. I don't need a number of likes. So but from the mobile, if it is a REST API, we need to consume number of likes also, and maybe we will not use it. So that's the advantage of GraphQL, meant like whatever we need, whatever the consumer needs, so they can configure it here. Okay, so get all post, name and content, I need it. I will send a query, so nothing is there. So it returns 200 and nothing is there. So let's try to insert one data. So we will come to mutation. So post DTO, We'll click on name, number of likes, everything. So here the name is first post. Okay, so here create new post mutation. So this is the query, it is generated. Okay, and we will send a validation message. We are getting the validation message. Okay, so here what it needs, it we have to select whatever in the response we need it. So we need everything, like suppose, okay, number of likes, everything we need. Okay, you can see now the query is we are creating a post here, and on the response we are want to get this. We'll call. Okay, so now we can see everything is created. First post, first content, number of likes 1. Okay, so we'll see the database post. Okay, yes, we first post, first content, first post, display 0, number of likes 1. Okay, and now the data first is created. Will let me create some more. Okay, it is created, and now if we will do get all post, we can see we are getting the data here. So ID is getting, and now suppose I am not interested in ID, I will remove this ID, and this name and content I need. So the API GraphQL will return a name and the only content. So that's the advantage of GraphQL over REST API. So that's why it is advantage, means like it has the advantage, means like a consumer can choose what all the fields they want to consume it. Okay, and I told you, means like get all post, if I select comments. Okay, so comments, I need a comment ID and content. So since we haven't there is no comments, okay, so that's why we are not getting any data. So let's create a comment, and the post ID is uh, 4 and it is 5. Okay, so let's create some post comments. Okay, we'll clear this. Okay, for the comments I haven't create expose one API, so let's put it on the database manually. Post ID is 4. Again for the post ID I'm putting it 4. Okay, we can see for the post ID 4 and this thing I added. Okay, and now suppose get all post I need a name and content, and I need all the comments. Okay, and you can see the query is like this. If I do a query, we can see the result. Okay, for the first content, first post, and the comment is the first comment and the second comment. Okay, so we can see the comment ID also. Okay, if I unselect, I need a content only. Okay, for the first post, 2 comments are there, and for the second post, 1 comment is there. Okay, and this is how like a relationship works. Because why it is working, because as we can see, entity post is it's working because one to many relationship is there, because that's why, and it is I have given it eager, so that's why I pull pulling by selecting the post also I'm getting the comments. Okay, now let's see the other part with like from the students example. Okay, now let's check the student example. So before that I will show you the database. So here we can see the student table is empty and address table is empty. So first we'll create some students. Okay, create new student. Okay, Henry, name is, address is Lyon. Okay, okay, created. Okay, so three students we have created. We can see. Okay, address is Lyon, London, and Delhi. Okay, and address table nothing is there. Okay, and now we'll try to fetch the mm, get all students. Okay, and address also we are trying to fetch it. Okay, okay, and you can notice here in the address we have specified a field. We have specified this field. Let me open the entity. In a student, it's a normal string, and but here it is coming like this. So why it is coming? So that's what I will explain how it is coming. Okay, and in the query we can see it is able to fetch the students, but address it is empty. Okay, and now let's try to fetch the address. Now let's try to create the address and try to fetch it again. Okay, so address, so name I put it London. It is created. And the third one is Paris. Okay, so let me show you the okay, so you can see name data is being created. Okay, now let's try to fetch the students again, and this time we'll select all the address. We can see the query again. Okay, and we can see we have not selected the we can see here the student details we are able to fetch, but address details are still empty. Okay, and why it is coming as empty? Because obviously it will come because there is no related, the tables are not related like by Spring Data JPA. And but how to fetch it? Now let's see. So if we can open the student controller, this is the mutation mapping, and I was telling get all students why we were getting this address as an object here. This is I will show you one file, then you will be able to understand. So here on the student type, we have address field we have added as an address object. So that's why we are getting as object. If it is a string, then obviously we'll get as a string, but we want to merge the student and an address, and without the tables are being not related. So let's see how we can do. So for that we have to use a schema mapping. So I have commented it out, so let me uncomment and show. We'll restart the server, and here the type is student and the field is address. Okay, so you can see the type is student and the field is address. We need to mention it like this. So what it will do is it will get address by address. I was telling this one, get address by address field. So find by name. So from the address repository it will find by name. The name, what is the name here? On the address field, name is a London. So this field it will join with this address field Lyon. So student which belongs to Lyon. So for this Lyon, Lyon is not there, London, Paris and Delhi. So one more data I have to create it here. So like for Delhi, you can see we will be able to see this field data, okay, after the server restart. So that's how based on this schema mapping it will try to fetch address by name from this by this field. Okay, so that's how we can we need to define this schema mapping in case the tables are not related. Okay, now let's see if it works. Okay, so earlier it was didn't work. So okay, now you can see it is working. Address is null for this because for Henry we can see, okay, for Mark it is London, and for Gaurav it is New Delhi. Because for Henry it is Lyon, it is not working because the Lyon address is not there. So that's how the schema mapping works. And yes, so this is all about there are a few more annotations are also there which you can see, which you can explore, because these are the few important annotation which is mostly used on, I can say some 80 or 70% of the time the query mapping, mutation mapping and the schema mapping is being used. So this is all about the code part, and I have nothing to show. Means like it is very simple. The file, the project is created from this is the build.gradle file, and the files I have shown. Okay, and this is the resources file, application.properties, nothing much. Okay, and yes, for with this I'm trying to I will end my video here, and please, if you like the content, please do share, like and comment, and please subscribe the video. Thank you for watching.